When it comes to towing trailers over 2,000 kilos in weight, you need a brake controller fitted into the vehicle so that you can control the electric brakes on the trailer. There are three types of brake controllers. We have solid state unit, we have a pendulum type unit, and we also have an inertia sensing unit as well. Here we have an inertia sensing unit, and here we have a solid state unit with a sync controller. When it comes to brake controller units, it is very important that they are fitted by a qualified auto-electrician. Some of the electronics in modern vehicles is quite complex, and it may be beyond the average handyman to be able to do the job. There are a few fundamental differences between brake controllers, and understanding what those differences are will allow you to make a wise choice when it comes to your application. With an inertia unit, it typically has an accelerometer in it, which is similar to the ones you will find in your modern phones. It will sense three-dimensional movement, particularly the forces of deceleration when putting the brakes on in the car. The inertia unit will measure these deceleration forces and proportionally apply brakes to the trailer to match the amount of deceleration that the car is going through. So now, with the solid state unit with the sync controller, this one is much like the volume control on an audio system. It allows you to control the amount of voltage that is applied to the brakes on the trailer. The sync controller allows you to control when that voltage is applied, a little bit early, a little bit later. That is a great advantage when you're going down a steep hill. You can bring the brakes in a little bit earlier so that when you're just touching the brake on the car, the brakes on the trailer are already working. And that helps to keep the trailer under control when you're going down a steep hill. Finally, the other unit that we often talk about is a pendulum unit. It is actually fitted with a small pendulum in it, and it swings backwards and forwards as the vehicle accelerates and decelerates. So moving the pendulum on that little thumb wheel to the side allows you to create the timing of the brake activation on the trailer. By moving the pendulum backwards a little bit, you can get the brakes to come in a little bit later. By moving the pendulum forward a little bit, you can get the brakes to come in a bit earlier. Once again, really handy when travelling down steep hills. The one thing to remember with pendulum units is that you wouldn't use them off-road, because you're travelling up steep gradients and down steep gradients. The pendulum will activate or not activate according to the hill. It's important that you choose the brake controller that is most suited to your application and that you find easy to use. But the most important section here is the fact that you learn how to use it. Get someone to show you how it works, and that you put it in a position in the cab of the vehicle so that both the driver and the passenger can get to it should there be a need. So why does the passenger need to operate the brake controller? Well, imagine that the trailer is swinging wildly and the driver is concentrating so heavily that they can't take their hands off the steering wheel. In that time, the passenger can locate and apply the trailer brakes independent of everything else whilst the driver's trying to slow down. This will help in controlling the rig and bringing you to a nice safe stop. We often practice the application of the brake controller from the passenger seat. This is very reassuring for the driver, particularly when we think that the trailer may be a little bit more unstable, like when there's a truck overtaking or if we're going down a windy hill. It is reassuring to know that the passenger can be part of the safety process when we're trying to bring the rig to a stop.